smaller I become, the farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run.
All right, parents, welcome back for part 2 of our holiday edition of the weekly message, marking period 2, week 7. How can I help my child prepare for the quiz? So we talked just a bit about the um, idea of kind of communicating out when your young person is not being super receptive to the instruction. I just want to shift gears a minute now and just talk about, again, Wednesday is our final quiz for the year. Again, not sure if this was emphasized a lot, but on my last video, I mentioned that our average class score for part 1 was 12 points out of a possible 48. And on part 2, 3 points out of a possible 38 points. Ultimately, we're at 15 points out of 86 points, and that's for the top student. My concern should be your concern. If you know that we need 7 points out of 86 in order for this region to be passed the first time, there's a lot to be done. A lot to be done. My recommendation is how your young person should be spending their time over the break. And definitely, if you agree or have a different thought, leave me a comment below. Is these various units that we have gone through, okay? They should be investing some time to what I call review, reboot, rewind. In a nutshell, have them watch it again. They spend enough time on YouTube. No, if they're so busy that they have done all the work around the house, then that's one thing. But if they're not doing a whole lot around the house, allow them to address the concerns that I'm sharing with you that I have. Okay. Let's also spend some amount of time to talk about the shout outs. All right. This week's shout outs. Want to basically, again, 30-point improvement, 70-point improvement, 10-point improvement, 60-point improvement for these various students. Okay. Want to shout out the mock Regents exam. I kind of told you the class average, but Nakia White is over the average. Dizani Marshall, Jermaz Cotton, over the average. Hassan Salah, as well as Desire Reed, over the average. John Pierre Rosario, as well as Paige, May, and Nikiria are over the average, as well as Anaya and Angel over the average. So I want to give them a shout out for that mock Regents. So shout outs have been addressed. Let's talk about what we did last week and what's going to be on the quiz. First thing that we did last week is we did test corrections. Again, child can get 50% points that were missed back by doing these particular questions. I can solve multi-step equations. That's going to be on the quiz. There's some videos uploaded to that end. IXL, your child was supposed to achieve 40 to 60 minutes of practice last week on these 4 tasks. And finally, the homework assignments that we worked on this past week are going to be on the quiz. So those are the things that I would say go to that YouTube channel and look for those titles so they can be prepared. Okay. Also, upcoming lessons for the week. Okay. They're going to be given an opportunity to do test corrections for the first test from this month, 12/05. The teacher task is we're going to be working with fractions as we look at multi-step linear equations. They'll be given an equation, solving equation card sort. That should be interactive and interesting. IXL, again, those 4 activities, minimum of 40 to 60 minutes. This is something key that they could be using their time for over the break. And finally, this homework assignment, commonly missed questions from our warm up. All right, this due date is next the Monday we return, or excuse me, the Tuesday that we return. All of this homework is due. So those are the upcoming lessons, and I want to spend the last couple minutes just talking about the weekly message that parents. I would love for you to share with your children. This life lessons that I think would be important for you to impart is twofold. Why being the hardest worker in the room gives you results, and why in life you don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. All right. So I think both of these messages are impactful, and I want to have you take a moment just to hear a sample of it. And for YouTube purposes, I don't want to get my tube shut off. I'm only going to play first 45 to 60 seconds of it, and then I'm going to send a link to you so that you can pass on to your child. Okay. All right, parents. Again, have a happy, safe Christmas season, and have the time count for something, as that they say. My football coach, don't count the time, make the time count. Please pass that on to your young ones.
So how do you make it? How do you overcome the odds?
I don't know what to say, really. Three minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell.
Or you could be like me. Dream of pro football, get hurt, dream over. Find yourself with just $7 in your pocket. So how did I get here? By being the hardest worker in the room.
Now it's time to see who has a heart. Now is the time to prove to yourselves and prove to everyone out there you are somebody. You are worthy of something. And you're able to do something special that no one else in the world can do. Are you ready to go out there and take what's yours? Yeah! What you worked hard for? Yeah!
All of us in life have things we want. We don't get what we want. We get what we have to have. We all get what we tolerate in ourselves and other people. But when you're no longer willing to tolerate something, that's when your life changes.